Welcome to this video for runners from Mike and myself here at the Physio Rooms. This is to really help you prepare and get the most out of the spring marathons that are coming up in 2017. So any of you out there training for Brighton, for London, for Paris, any of those spring marathons, hopefully this will help you get the most out of it. Now, I'm Tom, I'm clinical lead here at the Physio Rooms and a bit of a running geek.
And I'm Mike, Tom's colleague and senior physio at the Physio Rooms. We thought we'd take this opportunity to do a short video blog to give you all the best information for your marathon prep for next spring.
So we've got 4 key points we want to cover today. First on the list is thinking about actually building up the running you're doing now ready for your marathon training. Now typically we know for spring marathons those marathon training schedules are about 16 weeks long and they usually start somewhere around mid-December, sometimes a little bit towards late December. So you're just getting over the Christmas parties and suddenly you've got to start to build up that mileage. Now if you want to get the most out of that 16-week training, which is, it's a big commitment in terms of time, now's a good time to start to think about gradually building up the running that you're doing. So if, for example, you're thinking about a marathon training schedule starting mid-December at, say, 30 miles a week, now's a good time to build yourself up so that when it comes to mid-December, your body's used to 30 miles a week and you can slot into that training schedule with no problem whatsoever. So that's the first point. Think about planning the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks and building up your running ready for that marathon training schedule.
Yeah, on that point, when you're thinking about, planning your schedule, building up your training, it has to be a practical approach. It has to, look at your lifestyle, look at your week and try and figure out in a week when can you, figure in your training runs. As well as that, it's about figuring out, a gradual approach to building up your running and building up your training. The majority of injuries we see here is through training error. It'll be either trying to increase your amount of training too quickly, or else it's doing repetitive training over and over again. So even looking at your schedule, it's really important that everything every training session is purposeful. That we're trying to add variety as much as we can between training sessions, so we're not always running at the same pace or the same distances. That we have good variety and a good mixture of training sessions in the week.
And that brings us to that key second point then of our take-home points for today, is when it comes to your training schedule through December up to the marathon, pick the right training schedule. Now that does come down to picking the right training schedule for you, but what we'll do is we'll put on the physiorooms.com, we'll put a nice little resource page there with links to lots of free online resources where you can go and find a schedule that suits you. And just as Mike says, it's the time you've got available, builds up gradually and all that type of thing really. So picking that right schedule is a good thing to do. And why not work with perhaps one of the local running coaches? There's plenty around. They might be able to help you come up with a really good personalised schedule, and we have good links with those coaches to try and make sure we're teaming up to get the best results for you. Number 3 then on our points list then, a quite important one is to manage any existing injuries you have. Now, as I said, you've got probably a good couple of months before the marathon training starts to kick in, so you've got time to get on top of those little niggles, those aches and pains, that slightly dodgy Achilles or sore knee that you've been ignoring for a while. The thing is, we know, as we know runners ourselves, that once your mileage starts to really pick up in February and March, you're going to find those things often do start to become a bit more of a problem. You're much better off nipping it in the bud now, getting it looked at and dealt with, than waiting until it actually becomes a problem. So that's point number 3. Deal with any injuries you have now, get on top of them, put them behind you so they won't get in the way at all when you want to do your marathon training.
One of the other common mistakes we find that people training for events like this make is a lot of their training is very event specific, and what they forget to do is to introduce some cross training, and especially for the likes of a marathon event where it's very repetitive, it's very impact based. We know, and we found research has shown time and time again, that if we introduce some strength training to that program, we can, number 1, reduce the chance of injury occurrence significantly, I think sometimes up to 50%, And number two, what we tend to find is that people who really engage in the strength side of things will generally, be quite successful in achieving PBs and, achieving a good marathon time. So, having the right advice when it comes to the correct type of strength training. And again, it's adding variety, and it's cross training, and it's just looking after the body and giving yourself the best chance to get to the start line of the day in good shape, and looking forward to completing what could be a first marathon, or what could be a personal best attempt. So on that front, it's always worth getting some good advice, whether it's from your own coach or coming to see someone like myself or Tom, who have years and years of experience of working with athletes and helping athletes with various events, but specifically and especially with Tom for marathon running. We've got a vast wealth of knowledge that's there for anyone to come and see us with.
That's it. So just to summarise then, 4 key points for you to take away to get the most out of your spring marathon. Number 1, we've got think about the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks and gradually build up your running to prepare yourself for the training. Number 2, pick the right schedule to suit you and your goals. Number 3, manage any injuries that you've got. And last but not least, number 4, try and make sure you bring in a little bit of strength and conditioning to reduce that risk of running injury and also to improve your performance. And if Mike and myself can help you in any way here at the Physio Rooms, come along and see us. We're certainly happy to help with training schedule advice, managing any injuries, and giving you specific tailored exercise to deal with any areas that might need a little bit of strengthening and building up.